Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Laura, for those of you that do not know, and today's video has been a highly requested one ever since I mentioned the idea of doing one like this, and that is going to be a video sharing some of my favorite books that remind me of After, that are similar to After, that have characters similar to the characters in After, just basically anything that's reminiscent of After. You guys probably know, if you're watching this video, that I am a huge fan of After, and since the announcement of the movie coming out next year, yes, there is a movie if you do not know, I've been posting multiple videos on my channel exploring, you know, the behind the scenes and what's going on with the movie and filming and all that kind of stuff. If you haven't seen it, I'll have a link down below, but you probably have seen it because those videos have been very popular on my channel, and it has inspired this video because so many of you guys love After and you're like, is there any other books that's like After that I can read? And I'm like, I got you. So I will definitely delve into the reasoning a bit more as I go through them, but I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up if you love After, and subscribe to my channel if you've not already, and I'm just gonna get started. The first book on my list is Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire. And now this is kind of my classic answer whenever anybody asks me for a book recommendation that is similar to After, and the reasoning behind that is because when I first read After like 5 or 6 years ago, I had read it and me and my friend were both obsessed with it, my friend McKenna, and right after reading After, she was delving into this other book, which was Beautiful Disaster, and she read it and she gave it to me and she was like, you need to read this book. It's so much like After. Like, you're gonna love this book. It's insanely close to After. It has so many similarities. Like, you're gonna be obsessed with it. Turns out I read it, I was obsessed with it. If you didn't watch me back when I first started my booktube channel in like 2014 era, Beautiful Disaster was all I talked about. It was like my favorite book. So Beautiful Disaster is about this girl, Abby, who is in college. I don't know if she's a freshman or a sophomore, doesn't really matter. Abby has a best friend named America, and America's boyfriend, I believe, is cousins with this boy named Travis Maddox. Travis is trouble, nothing but trouble, drives a motorcycle, does like underground fighting, gets with all the girls, like notorious for sleeping with a bunch of women, like that's his thing. Him and Abby don't really get along when they first meet, but somehow they end up striking this bet with each other. Oh, hey guys, it's future Laura coming at you. I just wanted to reiterate what the bet was because I kind of didn't explain it right in the video. But basically they make this bet, and if Travis loses, he has to stay abstinent for 1 month. But if Abby loses, then she has to live with Travis in his apartment for the same amount of time. And so from there, obviously, we're gonna see a little bit of a growth of relationship. I think one of the main reasons that this story reminds me of After is definitely the characters. Abby and Tessa are very similar, as are Travis and Hardin. So if you do like the characters from After a lot, I think you will like Beautiful Disaster. It's also a very similar circumstance. It takes place in college. There's some type of like crazy stuff going on in it. A lot of like very similar themes, I feel like. So if you really like After as a whole, Beautiful Disaster has a very similar feeling. So I think you'll like that one. I would recommend checking it out if you have not. So that's the first one on my list. The second recommendation I have is a lot different from Beautiful Disaster, and that is the Seabree series by Abby Glines. Now, if you're a fan of my channel, you've probably heard me talk about this series countless amounts of times because I'm absolutely obsessed with it. This is a new adult companion novel series. I should also mention that Beautiful Disaster is new adult, but the Seabree series, also new adult. It is a companion novel series, which basically means that each book follows a new set of characters, but all of the characters are kind of related. The best way that I can describe it is that all the people in the books are like a part of a huge friend group, and each book follows a different couple, except for 2 of the books which follow the same couple. There's 9 books in all, so 8 couples. This is a really great series and I absolutely love it. I wouldn't say many of the themes are reminiscent of After. This book series takes place in Alabama and follows a bunch of like college students or out of college students and their struggles and their relationships. And while that is sort of similar to After, I think more so the resemblance lies in the characters. Obviously there's a ton of characters in the Seabree series, but a lot of them are very similar to Tessa and Hardin and share kind of different characteristics with them. But I think the biggest reason why this series tends to remind me of After is just the writing style, and the general feel of the books is very reminiscent of After. It's super like fun and laid back and drama filled and fast paced, and if you like After for like the drama and like all the stuff going on in it, and it's super like easy to read style, I think you'll really like the Seabury series, and there's so much drama packed into that series, and there's so much to read. So like if you want to start something and have a lot of books that you can read, I really recommend the Seabury series. It's so addictive is the best way to describe it, and it really gives you that feeling that After also gives you. So that's my next recommendation. The next recommendation I have is also a series, and that is the Did I Mention I Love You series by Estelle Mascom. Now this is actually a young adult series, so not new adult, which After is new adult, but I will say that the book carries a lot of similarities to After. It's also a Wattpad book, so this was originally posted on Wattpad, and then the author Estelle Mascom got it published, which is super exciting and fun, obviously. The two main characters in the Dimily series are Eden and Tyler, and while I think Eden and Tessa aren't that similar, Tyler and Hardin are totally similar. They're both bad boys, they both have troubled family lives, troubled pasts, gotten into the wrong things at the wrong time. And I think the similarity that Eden and Tessa might share is their need to want to save people. And I think the series is super drama packed and intense, and a lot of really similar struggles goes on between Hardin and Tessa and Eden and Tyler. Dimily is a little bit different because Eden and Tyler are actually step siblings that had never met before and meet for the first time and end up falling for each other, which is kind of unconventional and sounds super weird when you first hear about it. But I promise you it's not weird, it's not gross, it's actually like a really cute series. There's also a lot of similarities that go on in the series, like plot-wise. Obviously I'm not gonna give those kinds of things away, but a lot of similar situations happen in After and Dimily. So if you like the different plot things that go on in After, and you like characters like Hardin that are kind of bad boys with a soft side for that one girl, I think you'll like Dimily. Even though it's young adult, if you're a new adult fan, I think you will enjoy that series a lot. The next book on my list is True by Erin McCarthy. This is the first book in a companion novel series. I have not read the other books in the series, but they also follow other characters, and this first book I find very similar to After, so the rest of the series might be good. It's just not the part that I'm recommending today. This book is actually very new to me. I recently read it, and when I read it I was like, oh my gosh, this has so many similarities to After. This book follows a girl named Rory who's in college. I believe she's a nursing student, and when her roommates find out that she's never had sex before, they decide to make it their mission to help her lose her virginity. And to do that, they get this guy named Tyler, who I believe one of the roommates had hooked up with in passing, and he was just kind of this guy, kind of known for hooking up with girls around school, but also kind of in their friend group. They decide to kind of hire him to help her lose her virginity, but they don't tell her. So he's kind of going after her, and she's falling for him, and it's just like this situation. Just from that synopsis, you might be able to find similarities to After just in that, but also I believe that Tyler has a lot of similarities to Hardin as well. Another Tyler, weirdly enough. I think Tyler has a very similar like background, troubled past type deal as a lot of these male characters tend to have. He has a troubled family life, he's having trouble with school, like a bunch of different things that Hardin goes through. I think the plot is quite different from After, other than the obvious that I've already stated. It kind of goes in a different direction than you would expect, but it did definitely hold a lot of similarities to After, and I really did enjoy it. This is also a new adult book, and if you like the first book, you might end up enjoying the rest of the series. I just haven't checked it out, so you'll have to let me know if you have read it. But yeah, definitely a good one and has a lot of similarities to After. I have one more recommendation for you guys. Obviously, if this isn't enough and you want more recommendations, or if you've read all of these, definitely let me know and I'll do a part 2. But my last recommendation is Lost and Found by Nicole Williams. This is also a series, a new adult series. It's sort of a companion series, but not really. There's like 3 books about this initial couple and then 2 books about a different couple, so it kind of goes back and forth. Now this recommendation is kind of unconventional and very different from the rest of them, and that is because it's kind of a role reversal, but it still has a similar like feel to After. So basically what I'm saying by role reversal is the girl is kind of like the bad one and the guy is like the sweetheart nice guy, you know what I mean? So the story follows this girl named Rowan who gets sent to go to Montana, I believe, for the summer because her mother is like done dealing with her and her antics. Rowan really wants to get into art school, and her mother's like, you're not doing anything if you don't like get your act together. So she sends her to Montana to her best friend's farm, and she goes to stay there for the summer to work for them. And on this farm she meets the people's son, whose name's Jesse, who's like this sweetheart guy, like so like amazing and like genuine and just like stand-up guy basically. And she's like, I can't be near him, like I'm no good for him, like he's so perfect and I'm literally horrible. And it just kind of follows their relationship. I think there's a lot of similarities between the main girl, Rowan, and Hardin. I feel like they have a lot of things in common. I don't really feel like Tessa and Jesse have that much in common, but I do feel like the series is kind of similar in the sense of like bad and good and together and how it kind of works. There isn't a ton of like similar themes, but I just thought this would be an interesting recommendation if you do want to read a book with like the bad girl good guy type deal, instead of, you know, the opposite, which is After and all of the other recommendations. I just thought it would be a fun one to throw in there because it does have a lot of similarities, but it is so different. And it's also a great series. I really enjoy it, and I love the characters in this one, so I really recommend it if you're looking for something a little bit outside the box. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this recommendations video. If you've read all of these and you're still looking for recommendations, I'm so sorry. I will try to do another video like this in the future. But for those of you that haven't heard of some of these books, I hope you will check them out. And if you enjoy them, make sure to let me know on Twitter or a comment down below or anything. I love to hear from you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it helped. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you haven't already, and also subscribe. You can click the notification bell down below to be notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!